Good morning, my dear young minds. How are you all? Are you fine? Welcome back to biology session. In previous session, we have discussed uh, respiration plants. What do you call that? Structure of ATP synthase enzyme, mechanism of ATP synthase enzyme, and amphibolic pathway. Followed by what is RQ, respiratory quotient. The total topic was completed. The whole chapter was completed. Today we will start new chapter, that is transport in plants. Important chapter, transport in plants. Transport in plants. Chapter number 11. 11th chapter, transport in plants. You know what is the importance of transport in animal body or plant body? Everyone have wondered how movement of substances takes place from one region of the plant to another region, cell to cell, tissues to tissues, organs to organs, organ systems to another organ systems, and finally total plant body pick up all types of nutrients, minerals, water, amino acids, phytohormones, okay, and that means plant growth regulators, all food particles, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, fats, everything. And have you ever wondered how these substances move one cell to another cell to cell, or within the cell, tissues to tissues? Okay, that is very important concept. But transport system very well developed in animals than to that of plants. When compared to plants, transport system well developed in animals, that you might have studied in zoology. In case of botany, how all these substances move across membrane, that is important. Substances such as water, minerals, nutrients, amino acids, phytohormones, these all substances move across membrane, cell to cell, tissues to tissues, etc. Clear? Like animals, plant cells or tissues, organs, and total plant body require all types of nutrients, minerals, water, phytohormones, amino acids, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, everything. Therefore, plant also developed some transport channels. Example, by diffusion, or by osmosis, or by transpiration pull. In such a way, all substances move throughout the plant body. An example, root. The part of the root pick up bulk amount of water, minerals, and nutrients. Then translocate it to all parts of the plant by means of transport or transpiration pull. And how food particles translocated from source to sink means by active transport. By means of active transport, different types of food particles translocated from source to sink through phloem sieve tubes. In previous chapters, you might have studied what is xylem, what is phloem, what are the components of xylem, and what are the components of phloem, their structure, function, everything you might have studied. Once you remember all these things. In xylem, xylem vessels and tracheids. Xylem vessels and tracheids play a crucial role in water conduction from tip of the root to tip of the shoot over several hundred meters of height. And xylem fibers provide physical support to the plant. And xylem parenchyma store food material. It is living tissue. In xylem, except parenchyma, rest of the all elements, all components are dead due to lack of protoplast. But at earlier stage, all xylem elements are living. But after attainment of maturity, xylem fibers, tracheids and vessels lack their protoplasm. Due to lack of protoplasm, they became dead. But xylem parenchyma remain alive. In case of phloem, except phloem fibers, that means bast fibers, rest of the all components are living. Phloem, sieve tubes, companion cells and parenchyma, these are all living. Okay, here phloem sieve tubes play a crucial role in conduction of food material from source to sink. Source, remember, don't confuse. Source means the area where food is prepared. That means leaf. So phloem sieve tubes pick up all types of food materials from leaf and translocate it to all other parts of the plant. Leaf to tip of the shoot, leaf to tip of the root, leaf to fruit, leaf to bud, etc. Clear? Next, movement of nutrients are of two kinds: unidirection, multidirection. Unidirection and multidirection. Multidirection. Unidirection example, xylem. Multidirection example, phloem. Phloem. As I told just now, xylem translocates water molecules, not only water molecules. In addition to water molecules, minerals, nutrients, amino acids and phytohormones also translocated from tip of the root to tip of the shoot over several hundred meters height. So movement of water and minerals always unidirection. Unidirection. Root to shoot. That's all. Root to shoot. But not from shoot to root. Clear? Next, multidirection. Example, phloem. Just now I told movement of food. That means phloem play a crucial role in translocation of food material from source to sink. It is multidirection. Suppose leaf to tip of the shoot, leaf to tip of the root, leaf to fruit, leaf to bud, leaf to side branches. Hence it is known as multidirection. Multidirection. Clear? Take an example, a plant cell. Movement of substances takes place within the cell. Within the cell or cell to cell, cell to cell. Cell to cell through plasma-desmatal connections. This is called plasma-desmata. Plasmodesmata. So plasmodesmata, it is a living membrane which make direct contact between adjacent cells, side cells. So through plasmodesmata, movement of substances, water, minerals, air, everything takes place between adjacent cells. So movement of substance takes place within the cell or cell to cell or tissues to tissues, tissues to tissues. tissues to tissues, organ to organs, and organ system to another organ systems, etc. In such a way, all substances like water, minerals, nutrients, amino acids, plant growth regulators, that means phytohormones such as auxins, gibberellins, abscisic acid, rest of the all other phytohormones translocated for each and every part of the plant. That is the importance of transport system. Transport system. Hope you understand. It is just introduction part. Okay. Topic introduction. Transport broadly are of two kinds. Short distance transport and a long distance transport. Long distance transport. Clear? Short form SDT. SDT. Short distance transport. LDT means long distance transport. So broadly, transport are of two kinds based on their distance. Short distance transport and long distance transport. First we discuss about short distance transport. SDT. SDT occur in two ways. Namely, diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion again are of two kinds. Passive process and active process. Passive process again are of two kinds. Simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion. Clear? Flow chart very important. It's mind map. Flow chart important. So for now we are discussing about short distance transport, shortly called SDT. Through short distance transport, movement of substances takes place over shorter distances. Like within the cell, or cell to cell, tissues to tissues, etc. Short distance transport occur in two ways: diffusion and osmosis. First, diffusion. What is diffusion? In previous class, you might have studied what is diffusion. Once I repeat, the term diffusion is defined as the process of translocation of substances from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration along concentration gradient. That is known as diffusion. Once I repeat, the process of movement of substances takes place from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration along concentration gradient is known as diffusion. Osmosis means reverse. The process of movement of substances takes place from the region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration against gradient, against concentration gradient. That is known as diffusion. But osmosis. Osmosis definition are of two kinds. There are two types of definitions. One is for water and other for ions. In case of water, movement of substances takes place from the region of higher water potential to the region of lower water potential. The region of higher water potential to the region of lower water potential. That is called osmosis. In case of ions, movement of ions takes place from the region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration. Reverse. Lower concentration. Lower concentration to the region of higher concentration. It is also known as osmosis. Hence, osmosis has two definitions. You don't confuse. Understand the concept properly and remember, don't confuse. Water and ions. In case of water, osmosis defined as the process of movement of water takes place from the region of higher water potential. I wrote short form. Higher water potential to the region of lower water potential along concentration gradient or along potential. That is known as osmosis. In case of ions, reverse. The process of movement of ions takes place from the region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration against concentration gradient. That is also known as osmosis. So the term osmosis has two definitions, don't confuse. But in case of diffusion, it is very clear. Diffusion defined as movement of substances from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration along concentration gradient. That's all. Hence, osmosis also a type of diffusion. It is final conclusion. Final conclusion. Osmosis also a type of diffusion. It is a part of diffusion. That's all. Now, diffusion. It is common in gases and liquids, mostly gases. Common example, take one scent bottle, perfume bottle. Close door, window, everything. Open scent bottle. Spray at one corner. After some time period, what happened? Scent smell slowly spread from one corner to rest of the all corners of the room. How it is possible? Due to diffusion. That means what? Movement of substances. An example, scent smell, perfume smell takes place from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. That means from one corner of the room to rest of the all other corners of the room. That is known as diffusion. One more general example, take one glass of water. Then take 1 teaspoon of coffee powder. Coffee powder, make it into small ball shape. Take one glass of water, put in a coffee powder ball, put in glass of water. Then what happened? Coffee powder slowly dissolve in water. Yes or no? It is slowly dissolve in water and slowly spread it to all corners of the glass containing water. Means spreading of coffee powder in water, in glass containing water, that is also depend on diffusion principle. Another example, take one agarbatti, burning agarbatti. Instead of a perfume bottle, collect one burning agarbatti, place at a corner of the room, close door, window and all. Then after some time period, agarbatti smell also slowly spread to all corners of the room. That is also best example for diffusion. Clear? So diffusion also occur in liquids also. So by means of diffusion, exchange of gases takes place in plant body through stomata or lenticel. Okay, because lenticels and stomata make direct contact with the surrounding atmosphere. So based on their concentration differences, entry of gases, that means exchange of gases takes place from surrounding atmosphere to tissues. leaf tissues, stem tissues, root tissues, etc. Clear? Next, it is again are of two methods: passive process and active process. Passive means what? The term passive itself represent its meaning. Passive means it doesn't require any metabolic energy in the form of ATP. It doesn't require any metabolic energy in the form of ATP. It occurs passively. It never depend on life organ. It means it never depend on living system. Passively, movement of substances takes place cell to cell or within the cell, within the cell, or tissues to tissues. That's all. Hence, the type of movement of substances within the cell or cell to cell is known as passive process. It does not require any metabolic energy. It never depend on living system. Important neat objective question. Remember, don't forget. But active process, active, the term active itself represent its meaning. Active process require energy. So it pick up energy from metabolic activities. By taking energy, movement of substances takes place across membrane. That is for active process. Active process. First we discuss about passive process. Passive process again are of two kinds: simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion. First one, simple diffusion. Simple diffusion means what? A process of movement of substances takes place across membrane, across cell membrane, passively, without requirement of energy in the form of ATP. That is known as simple diffusion. So simple diffusion doesn't require any transmembrane proteins. It doesn't require any membrane proteins or transmembrane proteins. Clear? Because membrane, cell membrane is basically made up of phospholipids and proteins that you might have studied in previous chapter, Cell the Unit of Life, and the previous chapter, Respiration Plants. Clear? Hence, cell membrane basically made up of phospholipids and proteins. Cell membrane is made up of two lipid layer, upper lipid layer and lower lipid layer. Once go through diagrammatic representation. Simple diffusion. It is cell membrane. Upper lipid layer, lower lipid layer, together called bilipid layer. Bilipid layer also called phospholipid. Okay, because bilipid layer is made up of phospholipids. Phospholipid, an example, lecithin. Lecithin. Remember once biomolecule chapter. Lecithin chemical structure you might have studied. Okay. Upper lipid layer. Head, tail. You recall once fluid mosaic model of cell membrane. Same concept. Head, tail. Head, it is hydrophilic in nature. Hydrophilic in nature, whereas tail is hydrophobic in nature. hydrophobic in nature. Phospholipid. Phospholipid. Proteins. Transport protein. Transport protein. Clear. A small stretch of cell membrane I drawn here. Basically, cell membrane is made up of two lipid layers, upper lipid layer, lower lipid layer, combined to form bilipid layer. And the proteins are of two kinds: integral proteins and peripheral proteins. Peripheral proteins located on the surface, on either sides of the membrane. So peripheral proteins, its function, they provide physical support to the cell membrane. That's all. Whereas integral proteins are deeply seated in membrane. Integral proteins also called intrinsic proteins. Whereas peripheral proteins also called extrinsic proteins. Clear? Suppose these and all peripheral proteins. It is integral protein. Clear? So peripheral proteins located towards surface, means on the outer side of the membrane, both sides. Whereas integral proteins deeply seated in membrane. Integral proteins also called intrinsic proteins. Peripheral proteins also called extrinsic proteins. That's all. Now our main concept, simple diffusion. Simple diffusion occur through bilipid layer. Means substances which are dissolved in lipid layer, those substances easily move across membrane without requirement of energy and without requirement of protein. Such diffusion is known as simple diffusion. Clear? Once I repeat, simple diffusion takes place across membrane through lipid layer, bilipid layer. It doesn't require transmembrane proteins and it doesn't require any metabolic energy. Clear? And what type of substances move across bilipid layer means the substance which is dissolved in lipid layer, those substances only move across membrane passively. The type of diffusion is known as simple diffusion. That's all. Next, facilitated diffusion. Example, transmembrane protein. Because facilitated diffusion also a type of passive process. Like simple diffusion, it is also never require any metabolic energy in the form of ATP. But facilitated diffusion require protein transporters. Okay. Highly specified substances only move across membrane. Highly specified substances only move across membrane. Hence, facilitated diffusion facilitate pathway or channel for the movement of substances across membrane. And what type of substances move across membrane through protein means the substance which do not dissolve in lipid layer, those substances move across membrane through particular protein, that is called transport protein. Transport protein, also called transmembrane protein. Transmembrane protein. These proteins act as channels or pathways. Channels or pathways that allow substances based on their concentration gradient. Concentration gradient. So according to diffusion principle, movement of substances takes place from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration along concentration gradient. But what is the main differences between simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion? Means simple diffusion doesn't require any proteins, whereas facilitated diffusion require transmembrane proteins. First difference. Next, in simple diffusion, substances that are dissolved in bilipid layer, those substances only move across membrane through lipid layer, bilipid layer. But in case of facilitated diffusion, substances that are not dissolved in lipid layer, those substances only move across membrane through a special channel that is called transport protein. Transport protein. That is the main difference between simple and facilitated diffusion. Clear? Okay. All of you practice this diagrammatic representation. Don't forget. One more point. A lipid layer is made up of large number of phospholipids. Large number of phospholipids. These are all phospholipid units. Each phospholipid has two parts: head part, tail part. Head, tail. Head, it has polarity. Hence, head is hydrophilic in nature, whereas tail deeply seated inside the membrane. Deeply seated inside the membrane. That is called tail. It is hydrophobic in nature. It doesn't have polarity. That is the reason tail is hydrophobic in nature, while head is hydrophilic in nature. Clear? Right. Now we discuss facilitated diffusion with another diagram. Facilitated diffusion, NCERT book diagram. Upper lipid layer, lower lipid layer, together called bilipid layer. Head to tail, head to tail. Outer side of the cell. Outer side of the cell. These are all substances. Different types of substances. Membrane. Transport protein. The movement of substances takes place across membrane. lipid layer, all of you practice the diagram, important for neat objective point of view. Substances, different types of substances. Bilipid layer, bilipid layer, inner side of the cell, observe difference between these two diagrams. First diagram, second diagram. First diagram, second diagram. Outer side of the cell, inner side of the cell, membrane, cell membrane. Cell membrane is made up of phospholipid layer, upper layer, lower layer, together called bilipid layer. Bilipid layer means outer layer, inner layer. That's all. Transport protein. Transport protein. Here, transport protein acts as pathway or channel. Pathway or channel for the movement of substances across membrane based on their concentration gradient. Mostly, substances move across membrane from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration along concentration gradient. Clear? First step. See arrow mark showing the direction of the substances. So, molecule first bind with protein and pass through protein. Look here. Molecules move across membrane and mix it with surrounding cytoplasm because it is inner side of the cell. It is filled with cytoplasm, nutrients, everything, rest of the all cell organelles. In such a way, movement of substances takes place from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration along concentration gradient. It is the best example for facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion. Clear? Understood now? Are you getting my point? You must practice this mechanism. Important. Sometimes a question paper setter prepare questions directly based on diagrammatic representation. Okay? Next to water channel. Water channel. Channel means nothing but protein. Protein. Transmembrane protein. Lipid layer. Lipid layer. Now water molecules. Water molecules. Here water molecules move across membrane. Outer side, inner side, okay. Substances, water molecule substances. As all of you know, water molecules, they won't dissolve in lipid layer. At any cost, water molecules never dissolve in lipid layer. Hence, they won't move across bilipid layer. But how water molecules enter into the cell means through separate channels called water channel. So water channel also made up of special proteins called transmembrane proteins. Transmembrane protein. It is known as water channel. Water channel. This water channel is made up of 8 different types of proteins. 8 different types of proteins. Eight different types of proteins called aquaporins. Aquaporins. Important. One important neat objective question. See, look here. Water channel is basically made up of 8 different types of proteins. Those proteins are called aquaporins. So it is one of the water channel. It is made up of 8 different types of protein. But what are 8 different types of proteins? Then types not mentioned in NCERT. That is not mentioned in NCERT. Just only 8 different types of proteins only clearly mentioned. So water channel is basically made up of 8 different types of proteins called aquaporins. That's all. Aquaporins function allow substances, that means water molecules, from the region of higher water potential to the region of lower water potential across membrane, because they won't transfer through a phospholipid layer, because water molecule won't dissolve in lipids. Hence, for their transport, it requires separate channel, that is called water channel. Outer side of the membrane, inner side of the membrane. That's all. In such a way, large amount of water molecules move across membrane, cell to cell or tissue to tissues, organ to organs, etc. Clear? Next to another example for vegetarian diffusion. Another example. Cell membrane, transport protein, clear. Outer side, inner side, inner side of the cell, a substance it is uniport, antiport, symport. This is another best example of a facilitated diffusion. Cell membrane, it contains 1, 2, 3 transport proteins. These proteins acts as channels for the movement of substances across membrane from the outer side of the cell to inner side of the cell across membrane. There are 3 types of transport proteins. First one uniport, second one antiport, and the third one symport. Uniport, uni means single. Uniport allow only one type of substance across membrane. Means each molecule move across membrane, independent of another molecule, that is called uniport. So uniport allow only one molecule each time. Next, antiport. Anti means opposite direction. There are 2 molecules, A molecule, B molecule. Observe arrow mark carefully. A molecule entering into the cell across membrane, while B molecule exit from cell across membrane. A molecule and B molecule, 2 molecules at a time move across membrane in opposite direction. Such protein is called antiport. That means what? Antiport allow 2 different substances, not same, 2 different types of substances at a time allow across membrane in opposite direction. See, look here. A molecule move into the cell while B molecule exit from the cell. So 2 different types of molecules move across membrane at a time in opposite direction. Such proteins are called antiport. Clear? Next, symport. Symport means same direction. There are 2 molecules, A molecule, B molecule. 2 molecules at a time move across membrane in same direction. Such protein channel is called symport. 3 types of protein channels important: uniport, antiport, and symport. Uniport allow only one type of substance, one type of molecule across membrane, independent of another molecule. Whereas antiport allow 2 different types of molecules at a time in opposite direction. While symport allow 2 different types of substances across membrane in the same time period. That is the difference between uniport, antiport, and symport. They won't require any metabolic energy. Without requirement of metabolic energy, they pass substances across membrane. Particularly, uniport is passive process. But antiport and symport are active. Active process. Very important. Remember, Don't forget. Uniport is passive, while antiport and symport are active, because antiport and symport transport different types of molecules based on their concentration gradient across membrane. So they require metabolic energy in the form of ATP. ATP, adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Hence it is known as active transport. Antiport and symport both require energy in the form of ATP. They bring energy from metabolic activities. Hence these two are known as active processes. That's all. It is another best example for facilitated diffusion. Clear? All of you practice diagrammatic representation. This topic also important for NEET objective exam. Hope you understood. Understood now? Right. First watch this video properly. After completion of watching video, immediately go through NCERT followed by material. Next assignment. Obviously we'll get better score. Daily test exams, weekend exams, that means grand test exams, even final NEET objective exam. Clear? Thank you very much. Bye, see you and prepare well.